Hey, this is truly Jacob a writer. Again, this is my pen, writing, and media name, so you probably won't see my face. So today I'm going to give a review of an audiobook that I checked out from the library, just finished it. Took about 5 hours to listen to. So, was it good? How would you rate this? Does it have any good moral lessons? So, um, I may be getting into more audiobooks because I find that when I knit, um, or crochet, whatever it's really called, uh, uh, that uh, I it's something to do to pass the time, and you're using your brain, you're active, you're trying to picture the setting and stuff like that. So I like fantasy or adventure books. So I was like, hey, let's try this one out. Is this actually interesting? I have done radio dramas, like really, really love those because they keep you attentive. It's like actors and actresses acting with their voices. So I was like, okay, since there aren't a lot of those, what do I do? So here's an audiobook. So let's get into the review. So Alanna, the First Adventure. So basically it starts out with Alanna and her twin brother Thomas, or Tom, and they're in Trabond, their kingdom area. And they're twins. They look pretty much almost identical. And so like she wants to study to become a knight, and her brother wants to study magic and become a sorcerer. And so their father acts like he doesn't really care about them, because he's so caught up in studying all the time in his books, so he doesn't pay much attention to them. And so literally there was a maid that knew sorcery in their area of the land, in Trabond, handmaiden, and she taught them both. It sounds like the basics of magic of what she knew. But like they had to, when they became a certain age, she was supposed to go to like this school with the nuns and learn sorcery and magic, and her brother was supposed to go to school to become a knight, but she learned some of the basic stuff of fighting and stuff, and she liked that better. And her brother actually liked the what's it called sorcery stuff better. So she came up with this idea of, I'll pretend to be a boy so I can become a knight and train with the boys because I'm just as tough. And you can go to your sorcery school, and we'll just give a letter saying, he had two sons instead of a boy and a girl. And because apparently they didn't give a letter in advance or something about, I'm going to have a daughter coming to the school. You just, when it's time to go, you send a letter with your child and you go to the proper schools of night school or sorcery school. But as a girl, she was going to learn magic and all the sorcery stuff, and she didn't want to learn that because she enjoyed like the sword fighting and archery and stuff better. But she didn't really learn the sword stuff. It was more archery and basic fighting skills or whatever, because they had to defend their castle. So the story switches where it's like the story is really about Alanna, so you don't really hear much about her twin or what's happening with her twin after, from that moment on. And it's all about how she started off as a page and was there was like a guy that was beating up on her. Again, they think she's a boy and giving her a hard time, that she's not tough, and it was very hard, the routine and everything. So like she goes and goes and goes, and then she ends up having, to use her healing skills, because she had the gift of healing through magic, to heal the prince. And so she becomes friends with the prince and certain individuals. Some of them are older than her and stuff like that. And one of her friends ended up dying, but she healed the prince during that time. And then it's like she improved on her skills drastically. So and then she got this magic sword by the gods, and she because she was able to open this tunnel, and one of her teachers was not able to open it his entire life, but she was more vague and broad and secretive because she didn't want everyone knowing every single detail, because she wasn't sure who made the prince sick, and it drained her of a lot of energy to be able to heal the prince. So anyways, she kept going, and like the prince wanted her to come with her to this one place, like in the desert, and there was this black city, and she found out information. The prince went there too. His uncle set it up for him to kind of go and see if they could handle the problem, but basically it was like these immortals, and they would steal people's spirits and drain them of all their energy and eat them or something like that. And so they were going to do that to them, and they won the battle. So this is spoilers, but is this a good book for your children? Well, if you're a Christian, Christians normally don't like anything to do with sorcery and stuff, but one of the things in the Bible it talks about is like no one has seen God, and they say God is the one that created us, or the one that formed us in our mother's womb, and then we were born, whether you're an animal or you're a pet or you are a human. And the truth is, it's like, well, like I've never seen God. I have never seen the one who formed me or made me in my mother's womb. So how am I supposed to know if God is the correct definition for the one that first existed? So I don't know. So I read different things, or I listen to different things with an open mind, because I don't know the correct definitions of things. Because sometimes you need pictures, sometimes you need proof to demonstrate to you whether something is really bad or evil or whatever. So, moral lessons. In the end of the story, she realized this is the reason why she wanted to study the night, because of the powers to be at the very top, which are called gods, had their protective hand over her, and they wanted her to get rid of these evil individuals that were stealing people's spirits or whatever, and causing them to die and be eaten. And so she realized in that moment, because with the prince he also had magic power, together they were able to wipe out all these immortals, these evil immortals, and they won and got the victory. Now, what are the moral lessons? Here she is, she's pretending to be a boy even though she's a girl. And if this was a real life scenario, I would be like, personally, I would not want to pretend to be a gender that I am not. They also talked about her getting a period and, starting to develop physically into a woman, and how she was trying to hide, um, uh, you know, like certain features of like, well, like women develop breasts. So she was trying to hide those features. I'm like, how accurately can you hide those features? Like, that's what I was like thinking the whole time when they were describing this in the audiobook, was like, can you really just wrap sheets of fabric around your breasts and it makes it so like you don't notice them? Like what type of clothes are you wearing to be able to hide your breasts and make it seem like you're not developing into a woman? And then it's like, what kind of material were you using to hide your period? Because it mentioned her going through a period too, and she was like she thought she was dying because no one explained to her what a period was when she was like younger. So it was like, how do you hide having a period? How do you hide? I mean, it didn't mention her having cramps or, or anything like that, but it's like, how do you hide having a period when you're surrounded by boys or teenage boys, and no one else is bleeding like that? And how do you hide your breasts? So, like, that's something that I cannot comprehend. I cannot picture in my mind visually, because the type of clothes that I wear, literally, I don't think your clothes would be able to do that. Like, it's going to be noticeable that you're a girl if you have breasts. So, or if you're developing breasts, and it's going to be noticeable if you're a girl and you're bleeding in that certain area. So I will put in the description a disclaimer that maybe you won't want to hear what I have to say, because I go through these gruesome details. So be warned, sorry about that. But it's like, this is a fact of life. Women get a menstrual cycle every month. So it's like 5 to 6 days or 4 to 6 days, depending on your luck of how you were designed or whatever. So, in today's, like, what are the moral lessons out of this book? I'm kind of having trouble finding it, because, like, on one hand, you have the moral lessons of, here her intention is her handmaiden that taught her the sorcery and the magic is like, make sure you use your magic to heal. And if you kill someone, she's like, make sure you use your magic to heal too, to make up for who you're killing. Now, if someone is going to kill a whole bunch of humans and eat them, like, to me, I would think that is a good thing. Yeah, if that existed in real life, I would want someone to have magic that could kill these immortals so I wouldn't be eaten. So, I don't necessarily think that is a bad thing, to be like, yeah, like, I don't want to die, So, like, I don't think that's like, that's just making the story interesting to me. So it's really about fighting against evil, and they were using magic and stuff in a bad way, those immortals. So they were standing up and be like, I don't want to die. You're using it in a bad way. You're attacking people. You're eating humans in some way instead of eating real food, plant-based food. Why can't you eat plant-based food? So it's like, it's so like they didn't really talk about everything they ate. It sounded like they ate meat and stuff like that, but it's like, again, what, like, could meat just be referred to food? I don't know. Anyways, so you have all that, and then you have like the whole thing of the conflict of some people think, magic is 100% bad and evil. It brought out this idea of, if you had the ability to do magic or had powers, if you use those powers for good, would that really be evil if you had the ability to do certain things? Would you use it for good, or would you use it for evil, your own gain, to get power and control and be in charge of a kingdom? So it goes over like, okay, in this story you have like the king being at the top, and you have the prince that one day will become king because your dad dies, and then you have knights and lords and sires and pages, and there's a hierarchy of an order from starting at the bottom and gradually going up to the top, and dukes and stuff like that. So I don't know the order of at the bottom of like you're learning to become a knight to like how do you become a duke or a lord or a sire. I'm not sure the pecking order, so to speak. So, but it's showing you that to become successful, you also have to work really hard. You have to practice. You have to gain those skills. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to work at it. You have to work really hard. The one thing in this book, they did make it seem like you had to stay awake pretty much day and night. Like there was really no time to sleep to learn how to be a knight. And in today's society, it's like, well, technically to get rest, you need 8 hours of sleep. So it didn't mention how many hours of sleep they needed to get, rest and recovery time. So, but she was trying to do the right thing for the most part. But yeah, she was lying. So that's not a really good moral lesson to teach your children. But like, she also was brought up in an environment where her father really didn't care about her. That her brother and her had the gift of using magic and sorcery and was strong in them, and literally their father wasn't helping them to develop this talent or this gift. So literally they grew up keeping it a secret as a child because their handmaiden taught them this in secret. So it shows you, if your parents aren't supportive in helping you develop your natural gifts and talents, you may have to learn how to develop those natural gifts and talents all on your own. If your parents aren't going to take the initiative to love and be supportive and care about you and provide a way to do it, to help you do it and encourage you, you may not be able to talk to them about it. So it's like, are you gonna stifle this gift and not use it, or are you gonna like secretly develop it on your own? So so it's showing you like the family setting for her wasn't exactly up to par of like, I have this great encouraging loving father that's gonna help me, develop this awesome gifts and talents. So it's like, and their mother died in childbirth having the twins. So what are you supposed to do? So it's kind of showing you how life is in a different way, that it's hard, it's tough. You may not always get the loving parents that you want, and you have to make the best of your situation and learn and grow with the tools that you have available to you. Otherwise, it won't happen. So, like, Christians probably won't like this, but if you grow up in a Christian environment and this is how your parents are actually treating their children, where they're like, oh yeah, I love and care about you, but then their actions tell you the opposite effect, can you really say that you're a Christian? And that you really value the morals of the Bible? So, like, who cares if the Christians don't like this or not? Because all Christians who claim to be Christian don't actually demonstrate with their actions that they're loving and supportive and actually want to be there for everyone and want to make sure every single individual that comes to their church is loved by God or by them, and that every single individual knows that they are loved and that everyone's needs are completely met. Because if Christians really wanted to, they could completely change society and figure out a way to live off the land, work together as a community, and drastically cheapen the price of society if they all came together and worked together. But they're not doing that. So it's like they're really all part of the problem, and they're in competition with, the government and like increases of prices and stuff like that. Because if you really want to make a difference in society, you need to help come together, learn to live off the land, make things cheaper, and bring the prices down, not up. So I don't know what's going on with Christianity, but they're not helping bring a solution to the problems in the world that we have today. So if they don't like this story, they don't like it because it involves witchcraft. But however, in the Bible, it does mention in Deuteronomy 28, it's the blessing and cursing chapter, where it's like you can bless people with your words or curse others with your words. If you obey God and the 10 Commandments, then you'll get blessings. If you disregard the commandments, then you get cursings. So it's like literally, like, it leaves it up to you. Like, it's all on you whether you're gonna get blessings or cursings. So I did try to follow the Christian Bible, and whether I did good or whether I did evil, I just got more and more cursings and bad things happening in my life. So it doesn't mean I'm gonna give up having high morals, but there's something wrong with that Bible. So that's why I'm also saying I do not have a picture that shows me exactly what God looks like. So how am I supposed to know that's the accurate name for the one who formed me in my mother's womb? So until there's proof and evidence of that, I'm not just gonna blindly believe what the King James Version tells me, because it literally doesn't tell me who God is at all. It's very broad and vague, and it may not be defining all the words properly. The dictionary that I have may not be defining all the words properly, because English is an amalgamation of different languages. How do we not know that someone came in and cursed the whole entire language? So we could be in this really warped world because someone drastically cursed us. Because I would like to live in a society where you don't have to pay for things, where things are free and everyone's working in harmony with each other, trying to do the best they can. But literally, if you knit a blanket or crochet a blanket, literally, it is so tedious and so time consuming to do all that stitching and stuff yourself. I do not understand how in the 1800s how people were able to live off the land and do everything themselves. It doesn't make any logical sense. So, like, this kind of book kind of explains, oh, they're just talking about knighthood. They don't even explain how their fabrics are made, um, how they look like how they do, um, how they gathered all their crops and their harvests. Because literally, the food that we harvest is so small that it's impractical to live off the land yourself. So, like, it's an interesting story in a broad and vague way where it doesn't show you all those little details of the story, but it's like, but you get a interesting story. So sometimes maybe not every story has the greatest moral lessons. But it's like you can still learn something from it. In this story, overall, I would say literally her father seemed like, if you read the whole thing or listen to the whole thing, her father was probably so broken up by the loss of his wife that he shut himself into reading all these books. So he did not know how to really be a father to his kids. But because he was high up in rank, literally, and there was other people around him to do certain work for that castle and that area of the kingdom, literally, he left the raising of his kids to his servants or other people or the handmaiden. So literally, they took charge and taught, discovered they had certain gifts and talents, and they took charge in teaching them those things. And then the kids on their own decided, oh, this is where my interest is. And so they decided, I'm going to go do what I'm interested in doing because I'm interested in it for a reason. And Alanna found out this was the reason, even though her father wanted her to learn how to become a woman in dresses and parties and more sorcery. She ended up being able to learn more sorcery stuff and learn the knight stuff too. So, but I don't understand how she was able to keep up with the boys, because in real life, it's like, when guys start developing more muscles and they're muscular, it's like they can run faster, they can do things better. And like, I got slower and I thought I was good at things, and then it turned out as I developed into like a woman body, it's like literally I ended up being slower than everyone and not great in anything, and I wanted to be super successful in everything I did, but I literally could not keep up with everyone. It's like everyone surpassed me, and I'm like the slowest of all when it comes to doing anything or being super successful. So I hope you find this video helpful, but literally, if you maybe even sometimes you have to develop certain gifts and talents in secret to be able to love yourself and be true to who you are and who you were designed and made to be. I don't know. Like, is there another moral lesson? Because typically I would be like, lying isn't necessarily the best thing in the world. But Alanna in this story, which she went by Alan for short, so she tried to keep some of her name. So like, Alan is the masculine form of the name and Alanna is the feminine form of the name. So it wasn't like, it was more like just taking off the, like, Anna part at the end you know, so like I did like that aspect that it was like, here's the masculine form of this name, here's the feminine form of this name, and she just took off the root ending of the name, and then it's like, oh, Alanna, Alan. But I didn't like that she had to lie and be secretive and stuff like that to be able to be trained, because she talked about how she was like born a girl and everyone probably wouldn't let her do this. So is it more her father was adamant about like, no, you're going here, your brother's going here, because she said there was other lady warriors and stuff like that. So is it more that she's being secretive about it because her father's going to object? And so because more and more people are learning about it now in this first book, that she's a woman, she's really a girl, and the men don't care because like she's better than some of the boys. She's smart, she's intelligent, she's thinking outside of the box, so to speak, and trying to problem solve and learning these skills and adapting and really becoming a skilled warrior. And plus she has the sorcery skills and she's learning that too, and getting more tools under her plate or under her belt. So, and people like her because maybe she has a good work ethic and a good attitude, or trying to do her best. So she's not really getting into much trouble, except like that one guy in the beginning of the book really didn't like her for some reason, but it's like he had a problem where he wanted power and control and he wasn't really good at fighting and stuff and skill set. And so when he was alone with her, it made him feel powerful. He didn't know she was a girl. He thought she was a boy, so he was like picking on her, beating her up. And it talked about how this guy actually broke her arm in battle. And so that's a part that I didn't like. It's like, literally, if that's what it took to be a knight or a warrior, is that someone broke your bone, I'd be like, no, 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 I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay experiencing that kind of pain. So I'm really glad this is just a story and not real life. But it's like, if that's what it took to be a soldier, is someone actually breaking your bone, like, no, 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 no. Like, so I don't know, like, I guess this one is a hard one, where it's more like maybe the moral lesson is being true to the gifts and talents that you're able to really effectively learn, and continue to learn it, to continue to work on it. It may take time, but continue to do it, because you're going to get better and better and better and better. And then you'll have that skill set when you come out. But as for me, I'm not sure what skill set I should be working on, because the education system got really messed up and they didn't help teach me they didn't teach me anything thoroughly from point A to point Z, so to speak, so I could become successful. So I'm not sure what to do for a career, and I'm supposed to be an adult and be able to take care of myself, and I don't know how, because society didn't make sure I actually learned a skill where I could get paid a salary. And I didn't have guidance. Like in this book, she had other people to come into her life to help guide her and become more successful, and she listened to their advice. Well, I didn't have people people gave me advice, but then the advice didn't work. So I came out with not being able to be successful. So I like her story. It's kind of encouraging, But at the same time, it's like you still need a set of people behind you to help support you in these decisions. And even when she started telling the truth to people, she's like, please don't tell everyone. They're supporting her decision because it's like, I think they understand that her father would be completely against it and would take her out of the school and would take her brother out of the other school that she was supposed to go to. So it's it, 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 but she had people to support her, and so they're also helping her become successful. So it also, I guess, part of the moral of the story is you need people in your life to help make your life a success. You can't do everything yourself. So if you live in a society where everyone expects you to do everything yourself, then you're not going to be able to be successful, because that's what makes you successful is also the friends and the company and your community all working together. So can we create a community where we're all working together to provide for everyone's needs, lower the cost of expenses, create a better government system, create a better school system where you learn subjects and material thoroughly, and then people have different trades or different works that they do, and it's like you all do something different, or you all do certain things the same, but then you have things that are different too. Like, how do you create a society where the cost of things go down instead of up? Because I don't know how to live in society anymore. I feel like even though I'm an adult, I'm still really a kid, and there's a lot of the how-to stuff I do not know how to do. But when I talk to people about this, literally everyone's like, we're in the same boat. Like, that's what happened to us too. Well, in order for change to happen, you all have to get together and demand change to happen. You just can't talk about change happening. I do not know how to get the road to a better environment or a better government system. I do not know how to create this government system where literally we are all working together better as a community and living off the land, and things are better priced. So, does anyone know how to do that? Because like, she was able to somehow make money while in school to pay for a horse, while in school to learn how to be a knight. That she needed to be able to better do things for knighthood later down the road. Literally, I went to private schools. I did not even make enough money while I was in school to pay for my own schooling. I did not get paid enough to pay for my own schooling while I was in school, even to have extra money so I could have like fun money of, here's something to do for fun in the summer, like go to camp or learn to water ski or learn to snow ski. I didn't have extra money. So it's like, how was I supposed to learn how to do all these fun things? And how was I supposed to learn how to or gain enough money to pay for college? Because my parents chose to send me to a boarding Christian academy or high school, and they chose to pay for Christian elementary school. So literally they spent all their money. They could have been saving that money for college for me, and I had no money for college. And then when I got to the college level, I had no idea what I was supposed to specialize in, because no one helped guide me to know exactly what I should do. So what was the point of my whole educational experience? So literally, at least Alanna in this book, she had her handmaiden help her dive into magic, and she had someone teach her the basics of like what knighthood is about. And so she had those people in her life to help her know, like, no, I don't want to go to nun school. I don't want to learn how to throw a party. I don't want to learn all about the dresses. I want to learn how to fight and be a knight. And she had the stick-to-itiveness to understand, this is what I want, this is what I'm supposed to do. But no one helped guide me to help me know what I was supposed to do or what I was really supposed to learn. So I wish I had people in my life, like in this story, Alanna had people in her life to help guide her and help her keep her on her path, her true path. If that's what you get out of this book. I don't know. Feel free to put in the comment section what you got out of this book. Did you, like, because I just gave some of the spoilers, I didn't give all the details, but I pretty much did spoil the whole story. So, like, did you get a different moral lesson out of this book? And if you are a Christian, like, can you give sound evidence of why this book is terribly bad for Christians to read? Because again, the whole principle is you can speak blessings and cursings over people. That's isn't that kind of a form of magic? Like, if you think about it, if your words have power to curse people or bless people, doesn't that mean you have the ability to delve into magic and it's just called different things? Like, you're blessing people instead of cursing people. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time.